Hey, it's Bill Tromley from Tromley Tool in East Troy, Wisconsin. Today's video is going to be about community, the metal shaping community. The metal shaping industry as a whole is unique in one fashion. You can't go to a school necessarily to learn it. Meaning you can't go to your local tech college and take a metal shaping class. There are a couple of colleges that offer up a course, but it's usually pretty darn short, at least here in the US. So the transfer of information happens at a much more smaller personal level. A while back on Facebook, I posed the question, it was on a metal shaping group. How many metal shapers do you think there are in each state of the United States? And the response was anywhere from about 2 people to 1,000 metal shapers per state. It's a pretty wide range. Recently I posed the question again and we started counting them up, and like for here in Wisconsin, best guess is about 8 of us. And those are guys that are professional metal shapers, guys that are doing it for business, or that have a lot of experience, that have a lot of equipment. So let's say there's 8 of us that are known, that we know each other, and we double that number. We're at 16 per state. Maybe there's more than that. It's a guess. But it isn't a lot. Right? How many machinists are there? Or how many welders, as an example, in each state? Tens of thousands, probably. So it's a small community. Recently, just got back yesterday from a metal meet down in Tennessee. It was Jim Heary's shop. It's called the Redneck Roundup. You guys could find out about it on All Metal Shaping Forum. And it was a wonderful event. It is. And it's interesting. My wife asked me, she says, why do you go? You seem to be getting more accomplished as a metal shaper, and are you still getting something out of it? And I am. Why do I go? A lot of it has turned from trying to learn the process to being around like-minded people in fellowship. And you might look at that and go, well, that's a long way to go and an expense incurred. This year I airlined down from Milwaukee to Nashville, got a rental car. That's not a cheap deal. So is the fellowship worth it? The answer is yes. It is to me. And is that all I got? No. I learned a lot down there. And it's small stuff. It's in the details, right? It's the minutia of what metal shaping is. A friend of mine, Jerry, was down there. This was his first year. He's a very accomplished metal shaper and has been gas welding for a long time. And I've gas welded with Jerry in the past. He put on a presentation, and while he was welding, I was on my cell phone, and people might have thought I was texting or something. And what I have is I had an app on my phone that is a notebook, and I was sitting there writing down notes while he was talking and discussing to this group of guys the process. And it was stuff that he had said this time around that I went, oh yeah, I remember him saying that in the past. And watching somebody else do it again was beneficial. And that's actually what this is right now, is transcribing those notes onto a piece of paper. Some of the younger guys might find that strange, that you'd want to have something electronic and yet you would still write it down on paper. But having those notes to help refresh that process again. It truly was worth it. It's a great thing to have. With the community, though, what's important about it is making it so that you take benefit from it, but you also have to be cautious of what you do with that knowledge. You got to remember, we're taking and we're giving away what could be considered trade secrets, right? I'm opening up my knowledge and I'm sharing it with other individuals. Those individuals have the potential of competing against me. And for me, my business is how I make my living. And you have to be respectful of that. You know, there's a old saying that if a guy teaches you how to fish, don't play in his pond. You know, go somewhere else. The metal shaping community is small, right? It's very small, right? How many of us are there per state? And be careful of getting into that where you're now going to compete against them. It's not a good thing. There's more than enough work to go around. There's so few of us as metal shapers. Be careful how you use the knowledge that's given to you. You gotta remember, this information we're giving away freely. But we're doing it in hopes that it'll be used to your benefit, but not ultimately against the person who gave it to you. I've experienced this in my past. And it's kind of a strange aspect of this community. People will ask me questions, you know, and they get my cell number and they're calling me with questions, and I freely give them their answers until I ask them a question, and their answer is always, well, you know, I don't really know. I don't have a good answer for that. And then you realize that this discussion is a one-way discussion. That all they're asking me for is the information, and when I have a question to them, it's not answered. And so what happens? I respond less and less and less. And it ruins an aspect of the community, right? It makes it so that I don't want to share. Now, some of you guys watching that might look at that and go, well, you know, you helped out so many, there's some bad apples. Yeah, well, you know, we can take that personal. You got to remember, for all of us in this community, not all of us, a portion of us, we're pretty introverted, quiet people. The benefit of going to an event like that is you could see how many people have the same types of personalities. But when we come together, it felt like family, you know. It to the outsider of this, you might look at things, but it's just so odd. And it's not. I mean, we eat together, we even pray together. How cool is that? And you know, you just can't assign a value to that. But it's important for you to also respect that and try to be a part of the community. As you guys know, I'm mostly an airplane guy. And I say mostly, I mean 98% of the metal shaping I do is airplane stuff. The airplane metal shaping community is a very small aspect of the bigger community of metal shaping. Do I know all of the airplane metal shapers? No, I mean, probably not. I know I don't. There's got to be other guys out there. But the guys that I do know, you know, one of the things that I always do is I told them that I won't go after their customers. You know, I won't play in their sandbox. A friend of mine, he's out of northern Indiana, father and son, metal shapers. They do a lot of work on Waco aircrafts. And I see him every year at Oshkosh. I missed him this year at the Oshkosh is our big, huge airplane show that goes on every year. Yeah, it's huge. We got 10,000 airplanes that fly in, to give you an example. I missed them this year at Oshkosh. But one of the things, what I talked about with those guys is that if I was approached to do work on Waco aircraft, I'd decline it. what I would do is I would call them and say, I was approached by this, are you interested in it instead? And if they were to say, no, we don't have time for that, go ahead and do the project, then I would consider it. One benefit though is all of a sudden, sometimes when you do that and you call the other metal shapers, you realize the reason why that customer is calling you is because they might have issues with paying bills, they're looking for it to be done cheaper or whatever, so they're price shopping. And for us in this small community, because we're highly skilled craftsmen in an extremely unique field that is different than everywhere else, I'd rather stick together with the metal shapers than try to make a buck off of a customer. And that customer is shopping for price or whatever. So it's a good thing, right? And because I know that they do that aspect of the work, I stay out of it. And they do the same for me. And then I have that arrangement with a number of metal shapers. You gotta remember for like us, like I had said in the airplane community, I know some of the metal shapers have certain customers, and these guys could be pretty high-end customers. I don't approach those customers. I don't even tell them I'm a metal shaper, right? If I know that a metal shaper, I know his name's Randy, is doing work for an XYZ customer, those are Randy's customers. That's how he puts the food on his table, and that's how his business exists. There's more than enough work to go around. I don't need to be going after his stuff. It's an important aspect of the community. We share information, we exchange it in hopes of growing it, right? We enjoy the fellowship, but it can be a double-edged sword, and that cut on someone can cut pretty deep if they find that they're being slighted somehow, and it takes the fun out of it. And it's something to think about. Should you keep going to metal meets? Yes. Should you take notes? Yes. It was truly wonderful. I had questions on some of Stan Fulton's new tooling, and I know I've talked about Stan in the past with his thumbnail dies and whatever, and I'm not trying to make this a commercial about that. And I have those tools here, and and I see Stan at a lot of these events. But this time going down there, I had specific questions, and I said, "Can I ask you these questions?" And all of a sudden, the light went off. He said, "Yeah." And I said, "How does this work in these particular details?" And he was able to explain it. You go, "Oh, yeah, I didn't think of it that way." And he said, "Well, you could also create this combination and get this new result," which was cool. So the trading of information and knowledge is truly worth it. It's worth the expense. It's worth the time. Be part of the community. Share your information and help out your fellow shaper. If you're not going to share your information in ways, almost just stay out of it. It's not fair to the guys that do. And I don't know how else to say it any better than that. I hope that makes sense. So the last event that I know of for metal shaping in this 2025 year would be Oblong, which is in Oblong, Illinois. There's a post coming up on all metal shaping in regards to that. I think it's already up now. I saw it a couple days ago. And then also on Facebook. There too, it's a great event. Good group of people. What's neat about Oblong, maybe is it's just, there's some metal shapers that go to one event but they don't go to the others. And it's regional, and I think it's also friendship, right? It's those group of guys know each other, so they kind of go to their same events. The great thing about going like down to Oblong is that it's different guys, and you can see different processes and different thought processes. And the amount of sharing that goes on is tremendous. It makes a difference, regardless of your skill level. And help out, be a part of it, and give information, exchange it, and it'll make a good event. So hope that makes sense. Let me know what you think. When I was down at Jim Heary's event, I had asked for some content ideas. Got a couple good ideas. I think I'm gonna do some welding stuff, welding of steel and aluminum, and a couple different processes. There's a couple other things with cold machines. So also too, I guess these events, kind of a fault of my own, I think, is when I get pulled a lot of directions, I tend to get short with people as far as how I respond, and sometimes with the way my personality can get, it can be rude, and I apologize for that. It's something that I'm proud of, but it happens. So if I didn't give you the answers you're looking for, let me know. Sometimes it's not ever necessarily intentional. It's just that I too have seminars I want to see, or people that I want to talk to, and it's hard for me to answer everyone's questions at the time that they ask them, and whatever. So if they seemed rude or impolite, I apologize for that. Just please hope that you would understand it wasn't my intention to be that way. So hope that makes sense. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends. Hope you guys enjoy the channel, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.